Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a kind of impromptu live stream. I didn't think I was going to do a live stream tonight, but conditions are getting better for this comet. And so I want to get you guys up to speed a little bit on where this thing is, how to see a comet in the first place. You may have heard the news. There's a comet in the sky. Cool. Where do you even go about looking for this thing? What I'm going to try to do tonight is attempt to show y'all where it is and answer some questions, maybe help y'all through the process of going out, either getting a picture of this comet, looking at it through binoculars, whatever. So we'll start in a few minutes here. Thank y'all for joining. I see a bunch of y'all already in here. So thank y'all so much for hanging out. StreamYard is the program I'm using. It's a little bit different than normal, so I'm gonna try to remember how to use this thing. You know, we'll talk about this stuff and get you guys squared away on where this thing is. And hello, Simona from Denmark. How are you? Good to see you. I'm streaming to all the platforms right now. I'm going to my personal Facebook, Deep Sky Dude Facebook, the Astronomical Society of Southeast Texas, which is our local astronomy club's Facebook. I'm on YouTube as Deep Sky Dude, and now I'm even broadcasting on Twitter, which is pretty crazy. So if y'all are on Twitter, let me know y'all are watching from there, because this is my first live broadcast on Twitter as far as I know. So we'll see how that goes. Look who's here, Mr. Carl's Cosmos. Hey, Carl. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you all the way over there in the Houston area. Tampa in the house. What's up, Mohammed? How you doing? Chad, how you doing? Saw something glowing red, green, and white. Not sure what it was. It was in the southern sky. I bet you that was Canopus. We'll look at that. Chad, don't let me forget to show you where Canopus is in the sky and how low it is. And that's probably why you saw it blinking red, green, and all those fun colors. It wasn't cops in the sky, I promise you. Hey, Amy, how you doing? Good to see you. Lexi from the UK. Frank from Waterloo, South Carolina. I think that's right? South Carolina. There you go. Michael Kennedy, Mars, PA. That's the coolest town name ever, besides like Venus, Texas, I guess. Can you see it naked eye? Jason, I think so, but I'm not sure. I haven't actually observed this thing yet. So we're gonna look into that as time goes on. Hey, Pradip, how you doing? Carl's doing good. Hope to get a view of this comet. Me too, man. I'm actually considering after this broadcast going out and setting up the entire setup, even though I have trees in the way. So that's going to play a very crucial role, y'all. If you have trees in your yard or wherever you're at, you're probably going to want to go somewhere that doesn't have trees or houses in your way, because this is going to be a lower comet. The comets tend to turn on and get real bright and big when they're by the sun. And we all know that, you know, the sun comes up early in the morning. So we're going to show y'all. I'm going to show y'all exactly what's going on there. Hey, Don from Wildwood, New Jersey. How you doing? Rio Ranch, New Mexico. Hey, Jim. Ed from Baltimore, Ohio. There we go. Yeah. Thanks, Amy. Hey, it's Shane Gonzalez, a childhood friend. How you doing, Shane? Good to see you, buddy. Christina, how you doing? And hey, Johnny, how you doing? I'll be saying hey to a bunch of y'all as we go along. Again, if you have questions or whatever, throw them down in the comments. I'm going to do my best to check those and find those as they come in. I'm doing a solo mission tonight, so I might miss a bunch of y'all's comments. Again, I'm not trying to ignore you. I just, once I get into talking about the comet, I'm going to miss some comments. When we talk about the comet, I'm going to miss some comments. You catch that? That's pretty good. Kobe from South Africa. Nice. Ziggy, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man? Mexico. Awesome. We've got people from all over the world watching. This is amazing. So thank y'all for joining. And we've even got some Texas in the house, all over the place, all over the world tonight. So thank y'all for hanging out. So Suzanne, we're going to talk about the biggest comet news in like a couple of years, I guess since Neowise. I don't know if y'all remember Neowise, the comet that came along last year. Rob, what's up, buddy? But this is like the biggest thing we've had since then. So what I'm going to do tonight, what I'm going to attempt to do tonight is kind of show y'all through some software that I have how to find this thing. How you doing, Taylor? How to find this thing, where to look, maybe what you'll want to do as far as looking at it with binoculars, telescopes, a camera, whatever. There's always one Texan in my live streams. I can promise you that. It's me. Heidi from Lynchburg, Virginia. What's going on, Heidi? So thank y'all for sharing the stream. I see that happening too. I appreciate that. As always, y'all are amazing. So let's jump into this thing and let's look for this comet. Now, we're not actually looking at the sky tonight, y'all. So I don't have a telescope set up. It's nothing like that. It's an informal thing. I haven't done a live stream in many moons, literally. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to show you guys, hey, Liz, how you doing? Where this comet is and how you can find it. More Texans in the house. Jan, how you doing? And Ziggy's got to get to work. Hey, man, get to work. Let's pop on some good music. That's how it goes. So what we're going to do is the comet that I'm sure you've all heard about is Comet Leonard or Leonard. I don't know exactly how y'all are saying it. I'm going to say it Leonard. Should I say it Leonard or Leonard? I don't know. We'll get past that. Let's just call it Comet A1. How about that? Hey, Rose, how you doing? Good to see you. Okay, so this is a program that I'm going to turn the chat where I can't see it, y'all. So if y'all are commenting, I won't be able to see it for a few seconds here, but this is Comet Leonard, Comet A1. And you can see right now, I've got the time set to 3:04 a.m. This is an early morning comet, or, well, I guess late morning. I don't know, however you want to look at it, depending on if you stay up from the previous night into the morning or if you wake up before dawn. And so it just depends on what your schedule is like. My schedule is there's no way I'm waking up or going to bed at 9 p.m., right? So I'm going to stay up, right, and view this comet as it comes up. So let's use current time. If I click this tab right here, you can see the sky changes because it is not 3 a.m. It's 9:15 p.m. Central Time, and we're looking at the same portion of the sky here. You can see Gemini here. I know a lot of y'all might be familiar with some of the constellations, maybe not. But at any rate, we have Orion. Some of the winter stuff is already in the sky. I say already, it's December, which is wild. I don't know if time's flying for y'all as well, but that's pretty crazy. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to run time forward a couple of hours until we get the comet up. And you can see just right there, it just broke the horizon. This green line represents kind of like Earth's boundary where you can't see underneath. And then above it, of course, you know, you may have a house here, you may have a big tree, you may have a mountain, who knows what you have to your northeast, in between northeast and east, but probably you have trees or something like the rest of us. I have a massive amount of trees to my east, northeast, and so this is going to be a challenging comet for me to catch. It's in a constellation or near a constellation that is very, very challenging to spot. Okay. So that's going to be the first hurdle here. What I want y'all to kind of notice, though, is if you look here, this is the Big Dipper. And I think most everyone, if they know where to look, can find the Big Dipper. There's a bright star down here called Arcturus. And what I'll do is I'll roll time forward a little bit here. There we go. We'll get us into, it's 3:15 a.m. here. We'll go to 4:15 a.m. All right. So the comet is well above the sky. Now, this is Central Time. I believe this will work local, wherever you're at. If you're in California and it's 4:15 a.m. there, you should have a similar sky as to what I'm seeing here. Okay. And if you're Eastern time, you're going to have a similar sky as well. So this is kind of a local thing because the sky is kind of local, even though like if you're on the West Coast, it's 4 a.m. for you. It might be 6 a.m. for me. This is going to work out for you on a local scale. So let's imagine you're outside at 4 a.m. and you want to find Comet Leonard. What you're going to want to do is take the Big Dipper here. Okay. And again, if you have trouble finding these constellations, don't get too hard on yourself. This stuff isn't that easy. There's a lot of stars out there, especially if you live somewhere that has truly dark skies. And I will warn you guys, unless you have truly dark skies, you're not going to see this thing naked eye, more than likely. Okay, this isn't a Hale-Bopp. I don't know if y'all remember that comet from the 90s. It's not a Hyakutake, the comet that came a year after Hale-Bopp. This is not, I don't even think it's going to be a Neowise comet, which was, again, the one that came, a year and a half, 2 years ago, which seems crazy now. So this is going to be a little bit more of a challenge for those of y'all that might be doing this naked eye. For those of y'all that have binoculars or a telescope, you should be fine. Binoculars should get you you can scan this area, and eventually you might see a little fuzzy check mark, kind of a fuzzy check mark, like a pinpoint with a fuzzy tail coming off of it. I mean, comets are kind of hard to miss, but if it's foggy outside or if there's dew, every star looks like a comet, right? And we're running out of time, and I'll show y'all what I mean by why we're running out of time in a minute, because you can see here it's already 4:15 a.m. local, okay? And the comet is pretty high above the horizon. What I can do is turn on grids, and there we go. So I think this is 30 degrees, if I can just move this out of the way. So this line right here is 30 degrees. If you put your arm if you put your fist out at arm's length and make a fist, okay, that fist is 10 degrees wide. So what you would do is go out to your horizon and stack 3 fists on the horizon at 4 a.m. And if you're in this general area between Arcturus, this bright star down here, and the Big Dipper, which is up here, you kind of can triangulate the general area and start hunting. Now, I called this stream comet hunting for a reason, because you're going to have to go on the prowl, as it were. So comets are always a challenge, but sometimes they do get naked eye, right? And those are the ones we wait for, that we dream about. I don't think this is going to be that comet for us, but I think it'll be really cool. I've already seen some amazing pictures coming out of this thing from fellow astronomers. So let's zoom in real quick. I want to show y'all something that's really cool about tonight only. Now, if you're an international observer, someone from overseas, maybe, you might actually be able to get this thing without, I'm sorry, you might be able to get this thing closer to this object down below it. You see this object right here. This is actually Messier 3. Now, if I click on this, the comet's going to disappear, so don't worry about that. But that's M3, and I can actually zoom in on that and show you guys what that is. It's a globular cluster, and there you go. So in binoculars or a telescope, this thing's going to look fuzzy too, okay? So this actually might help some of y'all find it. It might actually confuse some of y'all. It might confuse me. But for those of y'all that are taking pictures, this is an amazing juxtaposition of objects here, because this object is very famous. It's a Messier object, right? Anything with an M in front of the name, M3, M10, whatever, is usually a fairly bright object in the night sky. You can typically see them with binoculars, although not all the time. And then if I go back up here and click search again, pick up Leonard, there we go. You can see exactly how close this thing is to Comet Leonard, which is absolutely fantastic. If you have a camera tonight, not tomorrow, tonight, this has to happen like well, I should say tonight. It's December 1st, but you're going to need to wait till December 2nd, right? Until after midnight when this thing comes up. I think it breaks the horizon locally around 1 or 2 a.m., something like that. Yeah, and see Phelps' imagery right here. See, he's already ahead of the game. The Comet will be passing M3 at 3 a.m. Friday morning. That's good. That's good info right there. And let's see. There were some other questions. Biggest Dobsonian you have? I have a 22-inch Dobsonian, which is pretty good. Definitely not important H's. Well, it's funny, Tamara. You might actually be able to see this in certain parts of Port Neches if you get away from the trees. The trees are going to be what kind of ends this thing for everybody, because once it gets high enough into the sky, dawn happens. The old sun pops up and starts brightening the sky and ruins everything, right? That's right, Chris. That's a very famous way to find Arcturus, is follow the arc of the Big Dipper, and I'll show you guys that in a second. And Valerie says, are we talking about Comet Leonard? We are. Comet C 2021 A1 Leonard, which sounds like a phone number or an email address, but I promise you that's the name of the comet. Hey, Brandon, how you doing? So an awesome juxtaposition right here. If you have a DSLR or a telescope with a camera, this is tomorrow, I promise y'all, when y'all wake up like on December 2nd or December 3rd, you're going to start seeing pictures of the comet next to this globular cluster. I promise you. Whoever has clear skies is going to get the early bird worm here, because, you're going to, it's going to be a really cool positioning, I guess is the best term. So what I want to do now is I'll show y'all arc to Arcturus. Okay, so this is a very famous way to find the star Arcturus, okay, which is this bright star right here. It'll be coming up in the northeast. It's in a constellation of Boötes, however you want to say it. I've heard Boötes, Bowties, Botes, Booties, but I say Boötes. It's a very strange constellation. Once you kind of find it, though, it's pretty easy to spot in the sky. You want to take the Big Dipper, and most of us know the Big Dipper. And again, if you don't know the Big Dipper, get an app. There's free ones for your cell phone. You can point these apps up into the sky. They know where you are, and so they're going to tell you that over there is the Big Dipper, or that over there is Virgo, which happens to be down here, or Leo is up here. So right, they're going to tell you where certain constellations are in the sky. And so that's what you're going to want to use to find this. Keith, this is SkySafari Pro 6, the desktop version. Now 7 just came out for iOS, like smartphones and stuff, but they haven't put out SkySafari Pro 7 for the PC or Mac yet. So we're still waiting on that. So I'm still using SkySafari 6 here. Josh says, sorry if this has been asked, but when we'll be able to view it, and view it from where? So, Josh, locally, you're gonna use these times. So right now, I've got the time set at 4:15. And you can see it right here. I'm assuming y'all can see my mouse cursor. I hope you can. You can see it 4:15 a.m. That doesn't mean that's the only time you can see it. If I roll back the clock to, let's say, 2 a.m., it's just breaking the horizon, but man, you can't like expect to see it this low. And even if you had an ocean in between you, there's nothing on the horizon, right? There's still twice as much air right here. You're looking through twice as much air as you're looking through when you look directly above you, right? So that's why like sunsets are red, moonrises are red. The light is being bent because of all the air there. So let's stay up. We'll have to drink some coffee or take a nap and get out at more like 3 or 4 a.m. is when you can kind of probably start viewing it. Now that's local. Again, remember, if you're on the West Coast and it's 3 a.m., hit it. If it's 4 a.m., even better, because as the object gets higher and higher in the sky, it's going to get better and better and better. And like my buddy Shane here says, there's a good possibility of fog tonight. Yeah, I know. The dew point tonight is right at the temperature range. And when you get the dew point and the temperature mixing together, you get this lovely stuff called dew. And you don't want to do the dew when you're doing astronomy. Trust me. Justine, again, Philippines is the same story. Use these times. I think in the Philippines, maybe y'all are daytime now. So some of this might change, but ultimately, the times remain the same. So keep that in mind. Hey, Clayton Jeter, old astronomy friend of mine. Not old, but an old friend of mine from long, long ago. So how you doing, Clayton? Good to see you, buddy. No, there's not one flying close to us on Friday, Jay. So the problem is with these kind of things, the media gets a hold of this and they say all kinds of dumb things. They're like, big comet, gonna be crazy. And then you go outside and you can't see nada, big surprise there, right? They call a lunar eclipse a blood moon. I still don't know why. There's not blood. It's kind of red, but it's not blood. All right. The media will hype this stuff up. And so that's kind of why I'm here doing this right now, to make sure that some of y'all aren't disappointed when y'all get out to try to see this thing. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is zoom back in. For those of y'all that are going to be taking photographs of this thing, this is the night to do it. Okay. I know it's 9:28 p.m. Central Time, whatever time it is for y'all. Wait till after midnight, 1, 2, 3 a.m., and then get out and get your cameras and all your gear out. If you have gear like telescopes, get it out before that, obviously, so it can acclimate to the weather or to the temperature, so that your optics aren't doing weird things on you and you're getting messed up pictures because of that. But also don't leave it out too long where you get dew all over it, because that's also a party foul. So this is where you're going to look for the comet. Remember, find the Big Dipper, okay? And then arc over down to Arcturus. This is going to be a bright star, y'all. This one right here, Arcturus. It's a pretty close star, or fairly close anyway in the grand scheme of things. So it's bright, and it'll be right on the horizon for you. That's the crucial thing. How fast is it going? Jay says very fast, but I say that with a but it's in our sky. It's moving fairly slowly. The comet is hauling booty, but in our sky, relatively, it's not moving that quickly. David says, "Is that you, Moon Diddy?" I think so. What time in Colorado to see it the highest in the sky? Lydia, whatever time before the sun comes up is what you're going to want to hit it. Hey, Ted, how you doing? Anytime before dawn, is where you need to be. Yeah, exactly, Jeremy. I'm actually going to zoom in on that in a second and show the photographers exactly what they need to do for this. Because if all goes correctly, I will be out tonight as well to shoot M3 and Leonard. And says, will you be going live when you're looking for it, or capturing for a later video? And yeah, probably I'll be capturing for a later video, because unless you're looking at a comet through a telescope or something like that, it's not very bright. So that's the inherent issue right there. You need long time exposures usually. Now this comet, I haven't observed it with a telescope or binoculars because the weather's been just nonsense lately. But I have heard that it is pretty good. Whether or not it's binocular, I don't know. I know it's telescopic. If you put a telescope on this area, you are going to see Comet Leonard. I promise you that. It doesn't matter if it's a 3-inch telescope or a 100-inch telescope. Doesn't matter. You will see Comet Leonard. And you can actually use Messier 3 as a what do they call those things? Like a waypoint or a checkpoint. Once you find M3, just go a little bit to the west. And I know that's weird saying, well, how is west up? Well, that's because west is this direction, right, in the sky. Because down this way is east, and then back over this way is north, and we got south going down this way. All right. So what I want to show you guys is over the next couple of days how this comet's going to move. All right. Comets move across the sky very quickly, although in our minds, right now tonight, this comet will essentially stay in the same spot. That's true, and that's also not true. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to center this comet. I'm going to put M3 sort of at the bottom there. There we go. Now this comet is moving this way. It's coming into our solar system and moving towards the sun. And that's a problem for us because as it moves closer to the sun, we're going to lose it. We're going to lose it altogether. Hey, Michael from Denver. How you doing, buddy? 20-inch Dob should be amazing. Yeah, Ted. You should have no problem seeing it in a 20-inch Dob. You should maybe even be able to see detail in the thing, depending on how it's outgassing. Corey says, is this for Friday morning? Well, it's actually for tomorrow morning, which will be Thursday. Again, I know the media is telling y'all, you got to get out Friday night to see this comet. Thousands of people are going to go out to view this comet, and they're not going to see anything but maybe the early morning moon, which I'll show you guys that too, because it's probably not going to be a naked eye. It'll probably be binocular, but definitely telescopic. So you might be able to see it in binoculars. You'll definitely be able to see it in a telescope. Chad, it's Canopus. Hold on, let's just look at it real quick. How about that before you go? Since you're on your way to the bed, and we'll look. I think, is it this one or is this? Yeah, there's Canopus right there. So if I rewind the clock back a little bit here, you can see Canopus barely. It comes up in the southeast, and it goes right over the south and goes boom, right back because it's a southern star. So look, there we go. So about its highest right there. Now, Canopus is a very, very, very bright star. How bright is a good question. Visual magnitude. Okay, so it's a double star, and we've got negative 0.62. That's bright, y'all. Here's Sirius, the brightest star in the sky, and it's negative 1.44. So it's almost as bright as Sirius, this star, but it's lower on the horizon. And again, remember what I told y'all earlier, that this star being that low on the horizon, it has a lot of atmosphere to come through to hit your eyeball. Okay. And in doing so, the air currents down here, if you live near an ocean, the air currents over the ocean, 200 miles away, whatever is going to be affecting this starlight. And that will distort your view. That's a star that we always wait for as astronomers. It's right under Orion, so we see it in the wintertime. And typically, this is a star you can see from like Australia and things like that, South America. And we only get it for a few hours a night, basically, as it goes right over the southern area of the sky. All right, so let's see. I've got a pop-up for a software. There we go. Okay, so we're going back in time. Let's go back into the 4 a.m. region. All right. And then you can see the moon down here, by the way, which is, we're almost at new moon, y'all. Now, this is below the horizon. Normally, this would affect your view of the comet, but being this small sliver of the moon and being that close to the sun, which is down here, you're going to be just fine. Don't worry about the moon. If you stay up early enough, though, you might actually catch the moon rising, and that's going to be a good one, because that's going to be, if you have a really clean horizon, man, that's going to be a wild thing to see. Okay, so let's go back up here to Comet Leonard and watch what happens over the next couple of days, because the real reason I wanted to do this live stream was to show you guys not only where to find it, but also what's going to happen over the next couple of days. So basically, we're going to have it right here tonight. Tomorrow night, it's not going to be in the same spot. And I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to drop this down to days right here. So every time I click this little button here, one 24-hour period is going to roll past. Okay. So watch what happens. As soon as I click this one day button, look at that. So It went from way up here to way down here. And to me, I don't know. That looks like it went right over the top of M3. What do y'all think? I mean, that is crazy. Let's actually let's roll that back. How to do this? We'll just do it like this. I'll center it up, and then we'll just kind of ignore the green. Okay, the green's going to be the horizon that we'll never be able to see under. Wow, look at that, y'all. Look at how that is ridiculous. So because it's green, that means it's under the ground for me. However, if you are on the other side of the world and it's nighttime for you, that's going to be one of the coolest pictures ever taken in astronomy. Well, maybe not, but maybe close. Look at that. Look at how close that, I mean, it's inside the globular cluster ring. So all the objects in the nighttime sky, they're all classified, and globular clusters are these circles with a plus through them, okay? A little crosshair. That's when you know it's a globular cluster. That right there is going to be an amazing picture. And I challenge some of y'all maybe in maybe Europe, or I'm not even exactly sure. Somewhere on the other side of the globe, not where I'm at, y'all are going to have a perfect positioning for this. That is just unbelievable. I did not know that it got that close, but for us, that's unfortunately not going to be visible in that way. See, there it goes above the horizon. So there you go. So now for me and everyone in the United States, this is probably what you're going to, closer to what you're going to get. So we'll go back to around the 4:15 a.m. region, which you can see my time down here. And you can see where it is. This is still going to be an amazing picture, probably even better than the one tonight. So this would be Friday. You can see the day of the week here. Local time is 4:15 a.m. And then UTC is 10:15 a.m. But UTC, I mean, even as far into astronomy as I am, I still don't use UTC, y'all, because I'm a local guy. I want to know if I can go outside and see something, right? Otherwise, it doesn't really help me to try to do the conversion in my head. It's like -6 hours or something like that. That's exactly what it is. But anyway, that's going to be the field of view for you on Friday morning. So tonight is, as we go from Wednesday night into Thursday morning here in the States, you're still going to want to try to find this thing, maybe set it up for your shots tomorrow, or take pictures of it tonight and tomorrow night if you can. That's going to be the real key there. Now this tail, this is a simulation of what the tail should look like at this brightness. This is not what the tail looks like. Okay. The tail is much shorter. The comet has kind of a greenish hue to it, which is due to the organic compounds that are inside the comet. Basically, if you're kind of unfamiliar with what a comet is, think about a frozen rock in space. Okay, a dirty snowball, as everybody likes to say, and as that dirty snowball gets closer and closer to the sun, it starts to melt. And in space, when you melt, you sublimate. You become a vapor. And that's why comets have tails. Asteroids are just pinpoints of light. So that's what makes comets special. And then and then this is the trend that's going to keep happening. You saw where it was going to be tonight. So I'll go ahead and rewind the clock back to tonight. There's tonight, or I should say, what did I say? Thursday morning. Okay. That's where it's going to be. One day after, on Friday, it'll be there. So again, you can still use M3 as a very, very, very good marker to find this thing. All right. And then as we keep going, let's just keep going with the days and watch what happens. Y'all can still see the comet, correct? I'm sure you can. I can. So as every day goes by, you can see it gets closer and closer to Arcturus. But notice something else that's happening. It's getting brighter, right? Until what day are we on here? This is December the 8th at 4:15 a.m. At 4:15 a.m., the comet is almost on the horizon, which again, you don't want to wait until it's that low on the horizon because it's not going to be as good of a view. So what you'll have to do is we'll have to switch it to hours, and then we'll go into like the 5 a.m. range. Now, where's the sun? There it is right there. At 5 a.m., it should still be fairly dark out. That's pushing it right there. 6:15 a.m., that's pushing it. You see we got Mars down here. We're finally getting Mars back in the sky. But you can see at 6:15 a.m., look how high this thing is. And this is the inherent problem here. Okay, so let's roll it back to something that's a little bit more visible, right? At like 5:15 a.m. This is probably getting close to the last few glimpses of this thing you'll get before the sun comes up. Again, depending on your horizon and everything else, those times may vary. But the sun does start to get bright at this point. So, and then if I switch it back to days, watch what keeps happening. You can see the comet just eventually, it goes through, I think this is Serpens down here. This is the constellation Serpens, I think. Yeah. And then, oh, look, Hercules right here. We've got Corona Borealis right here below Boötes. All right. So you can kind of use some of those constellations as markers to figure out where to look. All right. But then as we keep going, this is December 11th right here. This is 12/11. This is where it becomes a lost comet. Okay. This is it. 12/11, y'all. What is today? 12/1. Okay. Right now. So if you wait till next week or whenever, good luck to you. You're not gonna see this thing because by the time the sun comes up, or by the time the comet comes up, so will the sun. And then we can actually just as a thought experiment keep going, and you can see what a very interesting thing happening. Some of y'all may not know this. Some of y'all might. Comet tails, okay, the tail of the comet always points away from the sun. And that's because the sun is putting off stellar winds, right? Coming off the sun like a wind machine, if you will. But they're stellar winds, okay? But those stellar winds affect comets in every way. So as the stellar wind is coming out, it blows the comet tail, not even behind the comet, because you see the comet is moving down this way. Most people would think it would be moving straight towards the sun. It's actually not. The sun is blowing the tail away from the sun, okay? So that's why you start to see the angle of the comet tail change. And then as it goes around the sun, you can see there. Now let's run another thought experiment. Now you see it's on the western side of the sun, okay? More of like what happened when Neowise came around. So let's go to hours, and we'll center the comet. This is 12/17. I don't even know if this is going to be viable. But let's see. The sun is right in the middle of the Milky Way. And oh, look at that. Look at that. Maybe, just maybe, y'all, we may get this thing into the western horizon. Lloyd Overcash, what's up, buddy? I'll go ahead and take some of the questions while I'm in here. I see there's some comments. Hello, Crystal. How you doing? Demas says, yeah, M3 with Leonard Comet, nice pick. Oh man, can you imagine if you could catch it right on top of the globular like that? I mean, that would just be insane. Chad, have a great night, man. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you. Hey, Rita, thanks. I don't know if the sound effects are coming. I guess the sound effects are coming from probably SkySafari, I would imagine. Demas says, what's the current magnitude? Let's look that up. Well, actually, let's continue this thought experiment real quick before we move on to that. Okay, so we're at 12/17, December 17th, right? And then, let's keep the days going. Look at what's happening there. Ooh. Y'all, this may be a comet we can get as the sun goes down, although that trajectory there kind of scares me. Notice that its parent motion in the sky has slowed down. That's because it's moving away from our sun. Okay, see how it got close? And then as I move this away, you can see that it actually just kind of holds position right here next to Grus. This this constellation right here is one of my favorite constellations. The constellation Grus, Grus, Grus. So as we rewind the clock here, and you see the comet gotten smaller and smaller, so it's going to get dimmer and dimmer as that goes. So there may be an option to around the 16th, 17th, 18th to catch this thing in the western horizon, southwestern horizon. I'm skeptical. Knowing comets and knowing how they just kind of... David Levy, one of the best comet hunters ever that lived, besides Charles Messier perhaps, said a very famous thing about comets. He said, comets are like cats. They have tails and they do what they want. So this thing is doing exactly what it wants. It's going to go off here and fade into obscurity, and we'll definitely have trouble. See, Mercury is coming up nice here. So yeah, let's go back to now, and then I will roll forward the time to get us back up into the sky. There's 4:48 a.m. And we want to know what the brightness is. Now, this is SkySafari Pro's data. Do we know if it's accurate? No. Typically, they are getting their data here on the brightness and all that from comet centers and stuff like that. People watching it, but also I've never really found it to be that accurate. But you can see here it's plus 6.5, which is just out of visual range. I can tell y'all that with my eyes, I can see down to the plus 4.5 range on a great night. In a really dark sky, you might be able to pick up down to like 6 or 7 or so. But around here, 4.5 is the dimmest that I can see. So I can tell y'all pretty much with a surety that you won't see this comet naked eye. You just won't. Let's see. I'll get to some of these comments here. Kelly, hello from Los Animas, Colorado. Hello, Kelly. How you doing? Timothy Bowman says, Sky Daddy. Sky Daddy. No, I'm not your Sky Daddy. Is it visible tonight? Hey, Miss Tasma. Yeah, so it is, but you need some optics, man. You need some like binoculars or a telescope or something. Here we go. Jim says, saw it in 25 by 100s. Those are binoculars. Yesterday morning in suburban skies. Detected it in 15 by 70s too. 15 by 70s, you can go down to Walmart tonight or wherever your box store of choice is and get some 15 by 70s for less than probably $100, maybe less than 50. Remember with optics, y'all, I say it every time. The more you spend on optics, the more you'll see, the better you'll see it. Okay. So basically you're going to want to spend that kind of money on that if you got it. Megan, we're looking at a comet. That nickname is unfortunately sticking with some of y'all, which I'm not a fan of, but we're going to get through it. How you doing, Megan, by the way? Good to see you. Is M3 easy to spot with 7 by 35 binoculars? Yeah, I would think so, Stephen. Should be fairly easy. May not be immediately obvious, but if you look over in that area, you see 2 fuzz spots, then I think you've done it. So I guess it just depends on your skies. Daisy, how you doing? And no. We got Rita's in there. Shane says, enjoyed the presentation, buddy. Got to go. Some of us has to work for a living. Yeah. Well, some of us have to work on other people's schedules, right? So sorry about that, Shane. I don't like that for you, but start a business, my man. I'm telling you, that's even worse, though. When is the soonest we can see this at night? Well, tonight, Megan, if you have some optics to do it with, that's kind of the thing there. Oh, Rita. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I do make sound effects, so if you're not into those, I apologize. But Don says, thanks for all the great info tonight. I'll look forward to seeing everyone's photos in the coming days. Absolutely, Don. Me too. And if I don't get a photo, I'll be very, very sad. But that's the way it goes with astronomy. Sometimes you just miss out. I got the eclipse, though, y'all. We got to see the eclipse, so that was cool. If I missed this comet, it'll come back in a few, probably 1,000 years. Yes, Stellarium is a fantastic app. Take Megan's advice here. Download Stellarium. You can see it there in her comment. Stellarium. Stellarium. It's free. It's free fitty, y'all. So you don't even pay a dime for the thing. It's a great program, and you can do a lot of the same stuff I'm doing in here with it, especially with the constellations and everything else. Bob Snyder, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man? Good to see you, Bob. Oh, finals. That sounds like fun. Finals are I always procrastinated right up to finals, and so I did very poorly, but that's how it goes. So I want to show you guys and gals a couple more things here before I sign off. This is where the comet is going to be. Now, if some of y'all have more questions about how to find the comet, I can definitely answer those, but I think most of y'all now kind of get the idea. Find the Big Dipper, arc down to Arcturus, and then come up from that, okay? So again, find the Big Dipper, arc down the handle to Arcturus, right? You'll never forget that, I promise you, arc to Arcturus, and then just go up. And Cor Caroli, this constellation right here of 2 whole stars, which is hilarious. It makes no sense. I think it should just be a part of the Big Dipper or Coma Berenices. But it's its own constellation because people back in the day thought, we need a constellation here. Let's take those 2 stars and make them dogs. I don't know what they were thinking. But this is supposed to be Berenice's hair. So we really don't know what they were thinking. Or maybe they weren't thinking, and maybe that was the problem. So again, tonight, or I should say tomorrow morning, from tonight into tomorrow morning, this is your positioning. One thing I'll show you guys real quick is, since we have the comet selected, I'll do minutes. I'll set the clock to minutes here, and I'm going to run the clock forward. Look what's happening. You can actually see the comet move in real time. Now, it's already dawn by this point, but my point with this is to show you that the comet does move and it does change position even while you're just viewing it in the sky, okay? So if you're taking pictures of it in your telescope, this thing is going to move. And what I've always loved to do is take the comet's field of view, right? Put the telescope on the comet and start taking pictures. Don't follow the comet. Just take pictures of that little patch of sky. And the comet does exactly this. It moves through the field of view, and you get like that dynamic look, which is fascinating to me, because it shows that the solar system is dynamic. You know, you may walk outside and see the moon and planets and stars all up there, and you might think, well, that's where everything always is. That is not even close to the reality of the situation. Everything in the sky moves. I'll do it now, and then I'll run it forward again. Everything in the sky moves, except for really the stars, even though that's not really true. The stars definitely move, but we don't live long enough to see that happen. So Orion will still be Orion, 10,000 years from now, okay? But this comet right here definitely will not be in the same places in just a few days. So you can kind of see how things that are closer to us move more quickly from our perspective. So that's to illustrate that. Remember that the comet is going to be moving down in the sky toward the horizon, right? So if we go back to where the comet is tonight at about 4:55 a.m., it's right there, okay? What I want to do now is show y'all where in the solar system this comet is right now. That's a cool thing that you can do in SkySafari. I think you can do it in Stellarium. I'm not quite sure. The more I think about it, the more I don't think you can do this. But what we can do, there's this button up here called Orbit. Okay, so let's leave Earth behind. Let's head out towards the comet in another kind of thought experiment here. Okay, so what I want to do is zoom away from the comet a little bit. There we go. And now as I drag this around, I can change the positioning of the comet. So you can kind of see the angle of the sun here. There's the sun. And the comet tail, you see how it always points away from the sun in the sky. Okay. No matter where you are in space and time, that sun down there is blowing off stellar winds and pushing that tail behind, or I'm sorry, away from the comet. This comet could be moving this way. It could be moving this way. It could be moving into its tail. I've seen that before, where a comet is literally moving into its tail. So this tail isn't happening because the comet, like a windsock. This thing that's not happening because as the object flies through our solar system, the tail stays behind the comet. Actually, it stays away from the sun. All right. So that's a cool little comet fact that you can always take to the bank. That'll never change unless like the sun stops producing stellar wind. And if it does, we've got some problems, y'all. So what I want to do is I'm going to zoom back out and show you guys where this thing is in the solar system. All right. And I'm going to put on, let me find here, solar system. Let's put on, okay, there's the object orbit. That's a cool thing to be able to check out right there, but that's not what I want y'all to see here. Okay, sorry, there it is. Okay, so here's our solar system, the way it sits right meow, okay? We've got Mercury up here, with the sun right here in the middle. This is Venus, and there is all of us right there. So this comet is actually, if you look around, it's actually right above us, basically. Very, very, very close to the orbit of Earth, okay? Nothing to worry about. That's really, really far away, so don't worry about this thing hitting us. And what I want to show y'all, if I can zoom out just a bit here more. All right, so what we're going to do is watch the path of this comet as it comes through our solar system. And for that, I will need, let's do hours and see what happens. Okay, perfect. So you can see it actually is dropping through the solar system rings, getting pretty close to Venus there. Maybe a little uncomfortably close to Venus. And it's sort of coming out the other side of the solar system. So you can see like all the planets in the solar system orbit on the ecliptic. That is not how comets operate at all. Comets can come in from any direction. I mean, they can come in from the top, the bottom, the side. It doesn't matter. Comets don't care. Again, comets have tails and they do what they want, just like cats. So that's what this comet is going to do. And if we really speed up time, let's go like days. Well, let's go like 20 hours. Let's just try that. And look what's happening here. Comet is just flying out of the solar system. Let's go back out here. We've got Jupiter orbit. That's crossing the Jupiter orbit right there. It's 2023. So you can see what's happening, right? We are losing this comet for basically ever. I don't know. By the time it gets out here to Saturn, the comet will begin to condense. The solar wind and the solar radiation will have almost no effect on the comet at this point. Notice I said almost no effect. It'll still be a comet, but not outgassing with a beautiful tail like it was before. Once it gets past Saturn is typically when comets kick on, to where we can see the tail. Otherwise, they just look like a faint pinpoint of light. And you can see there's the inner solar system there. And you can see this comet is just on its way out. And I don't know if it ever comes back. Typically, comets that do come back have a P right here instead of a C. Just giving y'all some different angles here. And let's go crazy. Y'all want to go crazy? It's 2028, as you can see up here. It's already in August of 2028. Let's go for 1 day, which is only 4 hours faster than I had previously said. And let's go 2 days. And then I'll zoom out again because we're starting to get on massive scales here. All the fans on my computer are kicking on. The computer's like, what are you doing to me? I can't do the math that fast. But you can see what's happening here. This comet is out of here. It looks kind of like it's almost heading off to This is Ophiuchus up here, and this is Virgo. And I would imagine, yeah, basically it's off into, that's Serpens right here, this constellation right here, Serpens. Looks like it's off heading away from our solar system towards Serpens. Now let's go even crazier, y'all. Y'all want to go crazy? We're in 2039. Let's do months now. We're going 2 months at a time here. And now look at this thing just exit. This is just the exit of all exits right here. You can see that it is leaving our solar system behind completely. So this is it. That's my point here, is that if you don't get out and view this thing over the next few nights, good luck to you, because we're losing her. We're losing it, whatever it is. It's a comet. So, and look, we're in 22, we're like in the 2300s right here. The year 2300 is coming up. And you can see it's not on its way back. It's not coming back, y'all. This thing is gone. Terry, exactly, Terry. How you doing, man? It says yeeted into the universe by the sun. Yeah, this thing has been yeeted into oblivion, and it will go out there and it'll freeze and become just a black nothing. Pradip brings us up an interesting question. Any ideas if that effect will be available on Space Engine? Pradip, I don't know. I've been playing with Space Engine really hardcore for the past about 3 weeks or so, 2 weeks, and I don't think it does comets, to be totally honest with you, man. I think it really only does, like, you know, procedural planets and things like that, but I don't think it does comets, which is kind of a shame. I could be totally wrong, though. And in fact, after I get done with this live stream, I'm going to go into Space Engine and try to find that. I've been trying to find out. I've been wanting to do Space Engine this kind of format with Space Engine to see how those goes, because you can actually go to other stars and things, and you can do that here in SkySafari, but not on the scale that you can in Space Engine. So if y'all don't have Space Engine, it's definitely worth the $40 or $50 or whatever it is. I think it's PC only. Keith says, how do you turn on the Comet view in SkySafari app? Okay, so I'll show you that real quick. Let's stop doing the thought experiment, because let's see where we ended up just in that little time. In July 2nd, 2857, this is where Leonard is. That is our solar system. Okay? So it's, again, like Terry said, yeeted into oblivion. We're going to go back to now, and boom. Okay? That doesn't mean that's the last comet we'll ever see, y'all. Of course, there'll be other comets. So if you wait long enough, every couple of years, every few years, we get a comet. So let's go back to Earth, and I'll show you guys, at least on this app right here, how to get to the comet stuff, and then we'll call it an evening, unless y'all have any burning questions that we need to answer, which we definitely can do that. So I'm going back to the comet here. It's under the horizon. Whoops, let's not go 2 months at a time. Let's go hours. And we'll just run forward here, get it back in the sky. Okay. So to find comets on this app, one thing I don't know if it's going to show up is if these, do these drop-down menus show up? I don't think they do. But you'll go down up here to, can you see it at the very top? Search. You cannot. That's a limit in SkySafari. Hey, Gregory, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. So up at the top of the web, or the PC or the desktop version of SkySafari, there's a search function. Now in the new SkySafari, I believe, let me open it. You can go to Tonight, the Tonight app, or the Tonight part of it. Nope, that's not going to work. So go to menu. Man, they changed SkySafari so much, y'all. I apologize. It's almost like I don't know this thing. Okay, in the new SkySafari, or if you have the old one, it should be under like search or something like that. And it's gonna, you know what I can do? I can actually bring up my camera here, which is, it's just me. Hey, y'all, how you doing? This is SkySafari, and then I have it way too zoomed in here. So that's SkySafari. Okay, it's just an app on your phone. You want to click that search button. And when you do, you're going to get this menu here. This is going to give you like tonight's best. It's going to give you, all the stuff that they think you're going to want to see. Everything is listed as like what it is in the sky, whether it's a bright or dim object. And you see brightest comets right there. So you'll click on that. I say click, and you can't click on a phone. It's hilarious. I also still say videotape, which is dumb. But there you see the brightest comets. You can highlight them, as you can see up here. You just move that little button over. But you can see Leonard is the top one. Even though it's grayed out, that just means it's under the horizon right now. Doesn't mean you can't look at it in the app. It just means you can't look at it in reality, right? But if you hit Comet Leonard, it'll give you the basics information there. And then you can hit the center button there. And, oh, look, it's under the ground. Woohoo! Which is what we've been showing here. That's kind of how you find it in the app. If you don't have SkySafari on your phone, y'all, download it, man. I think there's a free version, but spend the money if you're an enthusiast of the sky. Even if you may just want to try to familiarize yourself with the constellations, you can, hold this thing up and, it's already working. It'll show you where the constellations are in the sky, okay? So get that app for sure. But on the desktop version, it's going to be up here under search, and then you'll go to brightest comets, and it'll bring over this menu here, which is exactly the same menu. Okay. Hey, it's Tony Bendel. Tony, you just missed my whole spiel. You'll have to go back and watch the whole thing, because I know you're going to be able to take pictures of this comet, whether it's this morning or tonight. So Tony is a great photographer, y'all. I can't wait to see if he captures some images of this thing. Although he's on the East Coast and the weather out there is frightful, just like the song says. Ann says, what a cool feature. I agree. Being able to orbit around Earth and seeing the planets kind of move and how they run, it's just fantastic. It's just a great app. Ted says, are those PRS guitars on the wall? That is indeed what they are. Those are both Paul Reed Smiths. And I have another one somewhere. It's in the case somewhere. But yeah, CE24, got that in 2002. That guitar is 20 years old next year. That blue one right there, the dark blue one. The black one there is a guitar I got for my wife and I's wedding anniversary in 2014. So it's a newer guitar. But that's like old blue, I guess is what I call it. And then I don't have a name for my guitars besides old blue. And I call it old blue by default just because what else am I going to call it? The blue one? I don't know. So yeah, Ted, thanks. Hey, Jay Cesar from Santa Cruz, Bolivia. Welcome. We're looking at comets and guitars apparently now, but mostly comets. You're welcome, Keith. No problem. Tony says, I tried catching this, but we had a fire call, and I just got back, and yes, weather sucks right now. So, Tony, you're going to need to wait till like 4 a.m. anyway. So you got time, buddy. I would really love to see if you can get out and find this thing and take pictures, because Tony got some great shots of the eclipse the other night. It's cloudy in Chicago. Well, of course, I think it's kind of cloudy here in Texas. It's just the way it goes, it seems. When is the best night to image? Gregory says, man, right now. The best time for this comet is right now. Again, because you're going to lose it in no time, y'all. This thing is going away from us at an incredible rate. So this is something you're definitely going to want to take advantage of. And again, just for those of y'all wondering, I'll go over it real quick. I see some new viewers popping in, but Big Dipper, okay, right here. Arc down to Arcturus follow the handle of the Big Dipper down to Arcturus and just come up. And then you're going to want to scan this area of sky right here. If you can find Cor Coroli, that is a very obscure constellation of exactly 2 stars. Okay. Cor Coroli is pretty much the most useless constellation to any of us. There's actually some cool objects in there, but it kind of points down to the comet, doesn't it? So if you can find the Big Dipper and you can find these brighter stars here and just point down towards Arcturus, and you just want to split the difference there between the two. Now, again, this is for tonight at 4 a.m. local to you. Doesn't matter if you're West Coast, East Coast, no coast, desert, wherever you are, 4 a.m. is what you see basically. Well, I've got it on 5 a.m., but y'all get the idea. It's close enough, right? And then if we zoom in here, Tony, I want you to check this out in particular. This object right here, any object in the night sky that has these circles with a crosshair over it, those are globular clusters. And so if I zoom in, you can see what's going to happen here. That's a globular cluster. It's a cluster of tens of thousands of stars just hanging out together really far away. And this comet is going to appear to kind of come between us and that globular as time goes on. So this is tonight. And then again, I'll run this forward one day and you can see what happens. It goes from above M3, Messier 3, to below Messier 3. All right. And every night that goes by from now until 28, 30, whatever, even past that, because this comet's gone. Okay. Every night, and I'll show you, every night I'll do one day here. Boom, boom, boom. See? Every night it gets lower and lower on the horizon. Now, that doesn't mean you won't be able to see it. It just means it will get harder and harder and harder and harder to see. And it'll get brighter, but so will the sky. Because, you know, as the comet comes up, so does the sun. So that's something to keep in mind. Ted says, I have a 1960s reissue Strat that I've had 20 years. Wow. Now that is, yeah, I'd love to play on that. Although I wouldn't even ask you, Ted, to play on that. I would not, I wouldn't even do that to you, buddy. Tony says, catch this, your stream. Yeah. I've caught most of it, although I don't think I've caught all of it. Ramon says, I'm in Houston and the sky is clear. Hope it stays that way. Yes, Ramon, it is clear tonight, I think. So we should take advantage, I think, right? Jonathan Talbot. Y'all, Jonathan Talbot. I don't mean to like brag on him just because he's here. But seriously, y'all, this guy is one of the best astrophotographers on planet Earth. Okay? Bar none, period, full stop. All right? There is really no argument here. If you're not following Jonathan Talbot on Instagram, let's see. I'm gonna look him up just because I want y'all to follow John on Instagram. And I'm actually gonna put this in a ticker because I want y'all to follow him because he is amazing. At Talbot J 2001: A Space Odyssey. Okay. Did it happen? No, there we go. Is that right, John? I think that's right. Let me make sure. Talbot J 2001. Check this dude's work out, y'all. For real. Again, I'm not just saying that because he's here and giving me awesome praise. Thank you, John. I appreciate you. This guy's work is fantastic. It's some of the best I've ever seen. And I think a lot of y'all are going to agree with me. And if you don't, we'll box. I don't know. Yeah. So there it is. Follow at John Talbot. Follow John Talbot at Talbot J 2001. And I hope, John, I hope you're going to be, getting pictures of this, buddy. I hope so. So, all right. Where are we at? Again, as the days go by, y'all, this is your real last opportunity, I think, is what, the 11th or 12th. You might get lucky. See, that's too late. That's even pushing it right there. With the sun being that close to the horizon, the sky is already starting to brighten, and you're already losing stars. You're already losing the night sky. Right? So be aware of this. This is one of those urgency astronomy things. Okay. This is not one of those things that you're going to want to wait on because you're not going to get a second chance at this comet. You might get a chance at the next comet that comes through. We might get a midnight comet where it's really bright at midnight. I've seen them like that before. Back in the 90s, we had Hale-Bopp and Hyakutake. We don't have that right now. We have C 2021 A1 Leonard. All right. So again, this is important, y'all. If you want to see this comet, get out and check it out over the next couple of days. Because again, I'm going backwards in time here, and we're already losing it. Where is today? What is today? The 1st? Okay, there's the 1st. But technically, we're going to need to be in here. Or here, I guess. And you can still see the moon over here in Leo. That's going to affect you. If you have the moon up in your sky, it will affect the view a little bit. That is a very, very thin last quarter moon, or last phase crescent moon. The moon is going into new, which means the moon is going to soon be down here-ish, okay? So we are losing the moon too, but have no fear. The moon will be back in like a week or two, or week and a half. New moon is always us deep sky fans. That's when we want to be out and about. So there is your comet update for C 2021 A1 Leonard, okay? I'm going to use this time that I have here at the end to address any questions. Jonathan says, yep, that's his Instagram handle. Remember to follow John. Great stuff. John and I got to hang out at the El Dorado Star Party November out in West Texas. He was doing some amazing astrophotography out there, working on a planetary nebula basically no one has photographed. And then he did an amazing talk for us and kind of brought us through his journey through astrophotography, which, by the way, was fascinating to watch someone who kind of came up in that era where these cameras were really kind of not great and very expensive. And then as they got really great and smaller cameras that were less expensive to where we are now, it's really cool to see that. So Tony says, I have no chance here the next 3 days. The weather looks terrible. Tony, drive. Get off work and drive, man. I don't know. You might not want to do that. Rayleigh says, I want another one like Neowise. Me too. I want another Hale-Bopp or Hyakutake. For those of y'all that might not have been like kind of astronomy aware in the 90s, I believe it was 96 that we had a comet called Hale-Bopp come by. Unbelievable, y'all. It was just amazing. And we need another comet, man. We need another comet. Just like we need Travis Hunter, the man, the myth, and the legend all in one. How you doing, Travis? Good to see you, man. Ramon says, LOL for a minute there. I thought I was watching a Home Shopping Network episode. Yeah, for you too can buy this comet for only whatever it is to wake up that early or go to sleep that late in the morning. That's the price you pay here. Love your streams. Thank you, Ramon. I appreciate that, buddy. Appreciate that. Too bad you have work in the morning. Well, just get up a little bit early, Ramon, and see if you can figure out where this thing is. Thank you, Pradeep. I appreciate you hanging out. Umair, this is SkySafari Pro 6, but this is the desktop version. So there's a desktop version and a smartphone version. And if you want both, you got to buy both. But I use SkySafari Pro like almost exclusively. And I can tell y'all that I love the app. I have found hundreds of objects in the nighttime sky with this app. And it's just amazing. So it's worth every penny. I promise you. Travis says, miss seeing you, buddy. We have tons to chat about. We do, man. We do, Travis. And in fact, one of these days, I'm just gonna drive out to California and make you let me plug my van into your house for electricity. So it's gonna happen. We got to figure it out. That's a long drive for me, but I'm willing to do it to come hang out with you. Plus, I've been to California in far too long, so we're gonna do that, man. Ramon says, in your opinion, do you this more than Stellaris or Stellarium? I think is what you meant there, Ramon. Yes, I downloaded Stellarium back in the day when I first started seeing it come on the scene, and I love it. I absolutely love it. For me, the interface is a little less familiar to me, so I'm not gonna like go out observing in like a dark West Texas sky and open stellarium. That's just never going to happen for me. It's always going to be SkySafari Pro. I'm not endorsed by SkySafari or the company that owns them or whatever. They're not paying me to say this. I just love the product. It's just a fantastic product. There are some shortcomings, and I could do a review video on that if that's something y'all are interested in. I don't really, it's not really my thing to do review videos too much, but yes, Travis. Yes, thank you. So SkySafari Pro, in my humble opinion, is one of the best. There's the Sky X, which is like $500 or $400 or whatever it is. Very expensive. Works great if you have a software bisque mount or a paramount. I just never got into the Sky X. I went straight to SkySafari because it was cheapish. It's like $50 every time you buy it. Although right now I believe it's 50% off. And there's Mr. Joe Califf right there at the Astro Joe in Houston. He's the president of the Houston Astronomical Society. So we're like presidents of clubs for just a little bit longer. I think I finally found somebody to be president of Asset to take my job, which is so amazing. Don't get me wrong, I love being the president of a club, but it's been 10 years. I've been president of this club in Beaumont, Texas for 10 years. That's longer than anyone should be president of anything. At that point, it becomes a dictatorship, right? So we're not going down that road. I'm going to let someone else take the reins and pull the club into the future. Yeah, exactly. Get it on your phone. SkySafari is worth every penny. You're always welcome in Washington State too, friend. Awesome. I've been wanting to come to Washington State as well. I've never been there. A lot of cool stuff to see up there. I love the mountainy terrain. Mountain and me are friends. So definitely. Thanks, Robin. And twinsies. Yeah. In a way, Joe. Absolutely. Twinsies. Hey, Nora, how you doing? Saying hello to everybody. Travis says, do you recommend this for someone suffering from light pollution, but enjoys knowing what's floating above us? Absolutely, Travis. Yeah, man. And look, Stellarium can do all that for you too, and it's free. And I encourage all of y'all to download Stellarium anyway. Download it anyway and go play with it. It's free. Why wouldn't you? And I believe it's stellarium.org. I may be wrong about that, but it's something like that. If you Google Stellarium, there's no way you can miss it. So just go get Stellarium right now and download it and use it. And then when you're ready to kind of get a little deeper and, maybe you want to see more stars, I believe SkySafari Pro still has more stars than Stellarium, although I could be wrong about that too. But again, I just like the way SkySafari represents everything and the way they do the orbit feature. And, I can go up there and find any object I want to see. I can highlight objects. Like, for instance, I'm doing the Herschel 2 list right now. So all the Herschel 2s are all in the sky. And what SkySafari Pro will do is I can go in there and move a tab over, and then it puts circles around all the Herschel 2s in the sky. Not the Messiers, not the Herschel 1s, but the Herschel 2s, and it'll highlight them. And so then all you do is like what I did at El Dorado this year. I had my phone and I just highlighted all the Herschel 2s, and I'd be like, okay, what's over near Orion? Because the sky looks really good right over there right now. And I'd be like, oh, there's actually a couple of Herschels over there. So I'd, point my telescope over there and knock off the ones that are in Orion, and then maybe go to Gemini or back off to the west or wherever I need it to go. That's a really cool way to do it, because then you can kind of prioritize your observing. You don't have to just sit there and say, well, I've got to do all the ones in this area and then go over here and start over there and go down and through RA and declination. You don't have to do that. Just have fun with it. As I go through this next list of 400 objects, though, I'm going to start knocking objects off the list to where I will have to start worrying about which ones I've observed already and which ones I haven't, and kind of find, the medium there, and then, start working towards finishing those off. So, but yeah, I definitely think, Travis, that you should have this. And also Space Engine is another really fun, if you have a PC, Space Engine is a really cool, and I'm going to do some live streams on that. I've already started the process to do those live streams as well. Space Engine is really, really cool. Just says, yes, you can adjust the magnitude in the product. Absolutely. Yeah, that's what's awesome is I can show more stars or less stars. So if I'm in a light polluted area, you can dial the stars back. If you're in a less light polluted area, you can bring in all the stars, even the stars you'll never see, which is great because in a 22-inch telescope like I have, when I'm searching for those really, really faint objects that are really far away, I need to know exactly where that object is. And with SkySafari and apps like that, I can do that because I can look in there. I can flip the image just like it's flipped in my telescope. Can do it right there in SkySafari. And then I can be like, oh, well, look, there's a triangle of stars over here. And that triangle points exactly to my object. And there's like 2 stars, just an example. And so then I can use that area around the object to exactly pinpoint the location. And I usually pinpoint 2 asterisms in the field of view. So once I think I have the object, I'll look at my phone and I'll say, okay, yeah, there's that triangle of stars. And yep, there's those 2 stars. And I see the faint fuzzy there in between them. Done. You now know that you saw your object. And you can kind of start looking at the object and saying, oh, wow, it's actually got some detail, or it's a faint nonsense nothing. That's the kind of the way it goes there. Mobile Observatory is a good one too. I've never used that one, Gregory. That's there's a bunch of great ones out there. And with each one, you get more or less features. So yeah, that's probably a good one too. David Haviland, how you doing? Good buddy of mine from Houston. Safari downloads the database, so you don't need to find a connection to access the info. Exactly. Yeah. So most of the star parties and stuff like that have Wi-Fi or cell signal within certain ranges. But yeah, SkySafari will get all that data for you, which is really, really useful. Nora says, anyone hear of DART, in which they used a rocket to change the course of an asteroid coming too close to Earth? Well, so Nora, that's part of that's true, and part of that is not true at all. We launched a spacecraft we're going to launch a spacecraft into an asteroid, yes, to see if we can change its orbit around another asteroid, as I believe it. And if we can change the orbit of that little asteroid around the bigger asteroid by a few minutes, then we know that an asteroid redirect mission in the future could work. Okay. We don't know if it's going to work or not. And by the way, that asteroid is going to come nowhere near Earth. It's in the grand scheme of things, it's close-ish, but it's of no danger to hit us. So don't worry about that. Don't lose sleep over that asteroid. But yes, the DART mission is very, very cool. It's going to be an amazing thing, and I hope that it's successful, because we need a way to defend Earth against asteroids and comets and stuff. And if we can just change the orbit ever so slightly, that might be enough. If we catch it early enough to save humanity, which would be, let's save humanity by moving an asteroid, not going to Mars, right? Mars is dead. Mars is not a backup plan. Let me say that again. Mars is not a backup plan, period. You're better off going to Antarctica and setting up an outpost down there, because guess what happens if your outpost, the wall falls down? You can breathe. You may be very cold, but you can breathe. If your wall falls down on Mars, you're dead. Okay? So Mars is just that's a whole other thing. A tractor beam would be good if we had tractor beams, but that technology may be a few years away, like 150 years away, if it's even possible. I don't know. Maybe it's possible now. Maybe I'm just not familiar. Travis says, DART, one of the few positives we have done, to be honest. Yeah, hey, Inspiration 4 was a big positive too, though, Travis. So, but yes, DART is going to be, man, I'm telling y'all, this is going to change the way we think about asteroid redirect stuff. Because again, if the Armageddon scenario happens, and we have to send a bunch of oil drillers in a shuttle to a comet, we're in trouble, because, they're not astronomers or astrophysicists. what a dumb movie that was, by the way, y'all. And the song is even stupider. It's I don't want to offend any Aerosmith fans out there, but woof. So yeah, that's my spiel on finding this comet, y'all. If you have clear skies over the next couple of days, get out and do it, because again, I think we can all agree that by December 11th or 12th, you're out of luck. This thing is going to be too close to the horizon as the sun comes up for you to even see it. It's not even going to be a possibility. So it's just one of those things that you need to get out and see right now. Put some energy into this one. Brew some coffee or hot cocoa. Bundle up if you have to. If the skies are clear, y'all, this is going to be something you're going to want to see. And again, it's not going to be naked eye. You're going to need binoculars or a telescope or a camera. If you have a wide-angle DSLR, like a Nikon or a Sony or a Canon, and you just have like the wide-angle lens, put the camera in that general area of the sky and take a long time exposure picture, about 20 to 30 seconds or so, with a nice high ISO. Maybe, I don't know if Tony's still here, he can help me, maybe 8,000 ISO or something in that high range. My Sony camera does like ridiculous ISO, so I usually do like 12,800 at about 10 or 15 seconds, and you'll pretty much more than likely see the comet. It may be a small little fuzz patch that you may have to zoom in and crop the image on, but you will get it. So try that. If you can't see it with binoculars or you don't have a telescope, put a camera on a tripod and go for it. Who knows? You may be able to get lucky on there. William says, I'm pretty sure someone already asked this, but how big is that comet? You know, William, nobody did ask that, and that's a good question. I don't know. Let's see if SkySafari has any information on that. You can see this is like the ephemeris data, and I'm going to go ahead and remove my face so we can see all the important data. And if I'm looking through here, it tells us the distance. That's an interesting fact there. It's 4 light minutes away. So when you go outside and you see this comet in your binoculars or your telescope, the fastest thing in the universe, light, took 4 minutes to bounce off that and hit your eye. That's pretty cool. You know, I don't know if this is going to have, see, look, physical parameters down here. Everything is unknown. They don't even know the mass. And that just could be SkySafari kind of not knowing that data. They pull this data from other sources. So that could just be a limitation in the app. But it doesn't look like we have any ephemeris data on that. David says, Armageddon was better than Deep Impact. I don't know. I don't know. At least Deep Impact, there was problems with both of those movies, thinking back. Yeah. But it did have Elijah Wood in it, which is better than some of the other actors. I mean, I guess Armageddon had it was a star-studded cast, but Deep Impact wasn't, anything to scoff at. But yes, both of those movies were absolutely terrible when it comes to actual science. So don't watch those for any kind of scientific explanation. Just watch those for entertainment value, right? And why was the 90s so... Why were there so many, comet impact movies? There should have only been one in the entire 90s, I guess. But there was 2 big ones. Tony says, my setting for NeoEyes were the following with the Canon 5D Mark IV plus a Rokinon 24 millimeter 1.4 shutter speed. Okay. 10 seconds at ISO 1600 at f1.4. So a nice short f ratio there at 1.4. So you're getting a lot of light really fast. 1600 is definitely a respectable ISO. And 10 seconds is going to give you an exposure long enough to where the stars aren't going to elongate, but you'll still get that faint light data from the comet itself. So there you go. There's a pro photographer letting you know what his EXIF data is. EXIF. That's what we call that stuff. EXIF data. I don't know why. That's what they call it. And So you can pretty much take those settings to the bank, especially if you have a Canon camera, and that lens, as long as you have that lens and that camera combo, these will work. However, if you have a Nikon, a Sony, any of the other ones with similar features, it will be similar. So start where Tony did for NeoWise there, 10 seconds, ISO 1600 at f1.4. And then, you can branch out from there. If you're not getting the result you want, you can definitely work on that with just changing a few settings there. Pradip says, drawing a blank on Stellarium, also regarding the size a bit. Oh, you mean for searching it? I believe it's stellarium.org. And let me just confirm that real quick. Stellarium.org. Yes, it is stellarium.org. And I'll go ahead and link that in the chats. See what happens there. Probably all kinds of tragic things will happen. Oh yeah, Keith says not as bad as The Core. Yeah, that was so bad I skipped it altogether. None of those movies though are as bad as Gravity. Gravity is the worst space movie ever made. Period. Full stop. And that's where we're going to end tonight. No, I'm just kidding. Gravity is terrible. It was a terrible, terrible film. There's the link for y'all if y'all catch it there. Stellarium.org. Definitely a useful tool. Oh, sorry, Pradip. I meant the size of the comet itself. No data available on Stellarium. Okay, perfect. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I guess probably what's happening is this is a non-periodic comet. Again, if it was a periodic comet, it would have a P in front of the name, and periodic means, right, it comes back periodically. This is a C comet, meaning that it's a comet that we discovered, and you can see there it's C 2021. So it's a comet we discovered in 2021. And the A1 is a letter designation that tells us when this comet was discovered in the hierarchy of comets that were discovered in 2021. So A1 tells me it was like one of the first, I think. More than likely, definitely one of the first. And then the Leonard is who discovered it. So Leonard is probably the name of an astronomer or some kind of survey. I know NeoWise is definitely not someone's name. It's a survey, the NeoWise survey. So that kind of gives you a little bit of insight into the way they name these things, the naming convention. Gregory says 400 millimeter Stellaview on a Canon 90D. I can imagine, Gregory, that's going to be an amazing way to do it. The 400 millimeter might force you to run a shorter exposure just so you don't get elongated stars unless you're tracking. Now, if you're tracking the sky, a 400 millimeter Stellaview on a Canon 90D is going to be amazing. You're going to get a fantastic picture. In fact, you'll be able to get it like the scene you see here with Messier 3 being below the comet. If you were to do this, all you have to do is tell your mount, go to M3, go to Messier 3 once you set everything up. So you don't even have to know where the comet is. Just go to Messier 3. The telescope it'll go over to Messier 3. And then you should have the comet in the field of view, especially with a 400 millimeter stellar view at prime focus. Yeah, no problem, man. You should be able to get both of those. No problemo. Victor says, any other astronomical occurrences coming up that you're looking forward to? There are, but I mean, there's the annular eclipse in 2022. No, 2023, the year before the great total eclipse. The annular eclipse in 2023 is in October, I believe. And an annular means that the moon isn't going to completely cover the disk of the sun. The moon is further away from us than it normally is. Or I should do this for y'all. It's further away from us. So it doesn't cover the full disk of the sun like a total solar eclipse will. The total solar eclipse is in April of 2024. And if you're not, if you're in the United States and you're not on that line of totality, you're doing yourself no favors, because this is going to be like the last one in all of our lifetimes, I think, or most of our lifetimes, unless you're a toddler right now. And I don't think most of us are toddlers. I'm not. So this is, one of our last chances to stateside in America see a total solar eclipse. So, it's kind of like this comet thing. The urgency is there, y'all. You got to do it. You got to do it. Bob says, search for adding comets to Stellarium. You can add it, no problem. Very cool. Yeah. That's the one thing that I do like about Stellarium is you can add objects in there. It's very cool. Gregory says he will be tracking. So Gregory, you're set up, man. I'd say point that telescope at M3 and just start shooting M3, the area, and watch that comet. Shoot it for like 2 hours or however long you can before the sun comes up. And you'll just watch that comet sort of move towards M3. It's going to be amazing. A CGEM 60. Okay. Yeah. No problem with that. No problem with that at all. Okay. And then Bob linked us a link of probably it's a how-to to add a comet to Stellarium. So if you do have Stellarium and you want to know where this thing is actively, that's the link you're going to want to go to add the comet to Stellarium, which is, again, free. It's free fitty, y'all. Okay. Any last questions? Any last comments? I'll go ahead and take those now if y'all have any. If not, thank y'all as always for hanging out for a live stream. I had some coffee, but it's definitely cold. I don't know why I'm drinking coffee at like 10:45 p.m. That's what I do. I don't know why. Yeah, thank you, Liz. Appreciate you hanging out with us. This is a comet that you're going to want to check out, especially if you're a photographer. That's kind of why I did this for the fellow photographers and the people that are after comets and stuff. Just a temporary thing that's going to happen in the night sky for a very short time. And if you're diligent and you have clear skies and you can get out, you can see this thing too. If you have a telescope or binoculars, again, definitely get out and try. I think you'll be able to see it in binoculars. I know you'll see it in a telescope. I know you will. Thank you for hanging out with us, Lynn. Appreciate you from Lufkin, Texas. I fly to Lufkin, Texas all the time. Well, I say all the time. I probably once or twice, every couple of years or every year. I love flying to the airport up there. They have a nice little cafe in that airport. In LFK is the name of the airport. So very cool to have you here. Thank you, Nora, for hanging out. I appreciate all y'all hanging out. Thank y'all for sharing the feeds on all the platforms. This was my first live broadcast on Twitter. I've never broadcast on Twitter, to my knowledge, before. I may have to go check on that to make sure that's accurate. But so it's cool to do that. And then thank you again to all the YouTube, Facebook, and all of y'all following me on social media. You can follow me at Deep Sky Dude. Which I have somewhere. Actually, I don't. Oh, wait, I do. There you go. You can follow me on all the social platforms right there at Deep Sky Dude. And I'd love to have y'all follow me on all the platforms. I'm almost at 1,000 followers on Spotify, y'all. So I need less than 50 or about 50 people until I'm at 1,000 followers on Spotify with my music. So that's amazing. Thank y'all so much for that. I appreciate that. I know a lot of y'all here are following me already. If you want to share my music, take the Spotify link or a YouTube link of my music and drop it on your Facebook or your Twitter. I would really appreciate that because that just helps me get my music out to more people. And music is kind of my passion. I mean, I don't know if the guitars maybe said that a little bit, but I appreciate y'all very much. Renee says, Moon Daddy. No. For those of y'all that may be wondering what that is, that started on TikTok. I was doing a live broadcast of the lunar eclipse, and someone called me. They kept calling me Daddy, which is weird. That is so weird. And then somebody, I'm like, I'm not Dr. Phil, y'all. Y'all don't have to call me because that's Dr. Phil's thing. Like people call him Daddy. I don't know why. And then somebody started calling me Moon Daddy, and now people like Renee, thank you, Renee, are continuing to perpetuate it. It's funny, but it's also kind of silly too. So thank you, Renee. Appreciate you. I appreciate all of y'all for hanging out and hanging with me for this. I was an impromptu thing. I wasn't going to live stream tonight. Had no intentions. But you know, I did just because I could, I guess, right? And I want to go see this comet just as much as a lot of y'all do, I think. Thank you, Bob. So I'm actually going to go out and assess the situation in the sky right now. And if it's good, I might start throwing gear down to let it get acclimated to the temperature and everything. And I may shoot this thing tonight. I'm worried about the trees in my neighborhood. Again, you're going to need a good eastern, northeastern horizon to see this thing. So keep that in mind. George or Jorge Lopez, greetings from Guatemala. Good to see you, George or Jorge. I don't know if I'm probably mispronouncing it one way or the other. Sorry, George. I'll just call you that. Good to have you with us. And yeah, and if I do get data on this thing, it will be a video that I'll post on TikTok, Instagram, all the platforms. So look for it there if I get data on it. I wish you all clear skies and good luck on finding this thing tonight. If y'all do get a picture of it or a sighting of it, share it with me, whether it's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever. And I'll try to put y'all's photos out there for other people to see. So if you do get a shot of this thing and I'm not able to, we've got to get the news out that this thing is happening because time is short on this, especially with a comet. We don't have a lot of time. We don't have no time to be tomfooling around. We got to get out there and see this thing. So that's my homework for y'all over the next few days. And again, thank y'all so much for watching. I appreciate y'all following and subscribing and all that fun stuff. Y'all know what to do. If y'all want more content like this, you know what to do. Follow me and subscribe and everything. I love you guys. Y'all are amazing. Take care of yourselves. Take care of someone else in the process. And we'll see y'all on the flip side. Have a great evening, everybody.